Hello, this is Mike Makkreel for part 4 of the Invaders 7-inch build, and I have my friend Rick Perron here to talk about the 7-inch that I just finished for a customer named Bob. And as you can see, we have the ship complete with Invader crest and something new, a slight hue of blue on the ship. Richard.
Yes.
We're going to show everybody how this base works. Actually, show Bob how the base works. So,
all right.
Point to the first red button on the far left. Yes, that button is his takeoff sound. All right.
Mm-hmm.
The next button is the landing sound. That's his custom sound. Well, minute and a half. It's a nice sound that I've taken from the show. Now that is your main lights switch. So if you turn it off, on and off, Rick, you can see the lights will go on and off on the car, but it won't turn these off.
Oh, I see. Okay.
See, so it doesn't matter if you switch, you get the headlights or the Buzz Diner sign. And that's a reason why I made it that way is if you want to turn the lights all off and just look at the ship glowing.
Oh yeah.
So you don't, because when the headlights are beaming in under the ship.
Right.
Now, of course, his car wasn't pulled in that far. It was like 20, 30 feet away, but
yeah.
I don't want to make a diorama 30 feet long or
no.
a yard.
Exactly.
Shipping would be a little high.
Yeah, you're
way
right.
back there in a little dinky car, you know. So I had to pull his car up a little closer to the ship. So, and of course, now this side, that switch is your main. So when you turn that, see, everything's off.
Ah, okay.
So everything completely. So I had to have a main. Now that guy, I believe, is your chaser. So you can flick that on.
Okay.
Yeah, there she is. Oh, there. Yeah, and then flick it the other way, Rick. There's two different. Yeah, there's another mode, which means just the red light underneath is glowing.
Yeah, I see that.
So you want to play with it, right?
Okay.
In one setting, and then when you put it in the middle, it's off.
It's off right
And then
now.
the next switch there, that's your green lights, and then the other switch the other way is a pulsing green. Yeah.
Okay.
Now, of course, this light back there, that switch back there, that's just an added switch. When the chaser's on, you can turn the little. We talked about that before.
Yeah, about the
interior. That was
interior
extra,
light.
wanted that extra.
Yeah.
And of course, those are themes. Theme, the Invaders, you know, and then the other one, there's another theme. There's 2 Invader themes, so they're in there. And the chip holds quite a bit. I got about, I would say, close to 10 minutes of music on that one chip.
Oh,
yeah.
That's phenomenal.
Yeah. And then, of course, the Easter egg.
There we go. Am I doing it right? Oh gosh, where?
Well, you just,
I knew it was there somewhere. Okay.
There was this light, a kind of glow.
Oh yeah.
It came down right over here.
grab David Vincent by the head. Oh, he's hard. Yeah, so he's in there pretty good. So he's not going to fall out.
No.
So I glued a mono on his foot, so
Okay.
you leave him in there.
Yeah.
And that car is bolted, like with a screw.
Oh, I see. Okay.
On the bottom, you know, like you flip this guy.
Yeah, I can see right there.
There's a screw right there.
Yeah.
That's screwed together.
'Cause I was gonna...
all these straws there. That's all the wires run through there.
Oh my gosh.
You know, and there's an MP3 speaker, so you don't have a cheesy speaker.
Mm-hmm.
And then you don't want to touch the mode because it'll throw the settings off. So Bob, don't touch the mode button. But if you want to touch the speed button, you can do that.
Mm-hmm.
Speed button changes the speed of the pulsing of the lights.
Okay.
And the light button, it's just can increase the intensity of the light. So I got it as high as possible. So you don't want to change that either. So if you want to mess around with this thing right there, those two, it's the speed you can touch. center buttons. And that's it, but you don't really have to get under there. Now, here, those are the plugs for the model. They're all color-coded. Yellow, purple, and blue. They all plug into each other accordingly. So, it's such a small model. It's so compact. You know, there's just, you know, so much.
Well, I like the way, like, when you look underneath, it's not messy or anything like that. It's well taken care of. You know, okay, this for whatever it you know, whatever wires are for what. It's well stationed, or you know, stationed. I don't know the words to it, but you know what I mean. It's not cluttered.
Yeah, well, yeah. You got to put everything in there as you can, and locate everything in there. You can look at that for the wiring. You know, the wiring just sometimes takes forever. You know, on these models.
Yeah.
But like I said before, the small ones aren't as fun to work on because they're too small.
Yeah.
The bigger ones, you know, are more enjoyable to work on. I'm surprised that a model kit hasn't come out of a larger Invaders ship, and I'm glad I'm the only one making it right now because it seems to be selling pretty good.
Yeah, no, very
You know,
impressed.
I can't stamp these out as fast as they're being sold, and I just sold another one for $199 on sale.
Oh, good for you.
On eBay.
Wow.
So I stopped advertising because it's just I just can't don't have enough time to make them.
Yeah, and the thing is, there's so many fans out there of this classic TV series, you know, and like I said, the only thing through the years that we've had to look forward to was the Aurora kit. That was it, you know, and even that, you know, originally that they screwed up on, you know, as far as like some of the details, like the TV series, and what you've done over here is made it like the TV series ship.
Yeah. So having a blue, what do you think about that, Rick, with the blue compared to the gray?
Actually, I like the effect in that because it gives it a different take on the weathered look, you know, because back in the 50s, 60s, whenever they had like science fiction movies, spaceship was always immaculate. Well, reality sets in. You're flying out in space. You know you're going to get bombarded by all kinds of objects. So there's no way they can look perfect. It doesn't happen. So I do love the effect of it.
I noticed that a lot of the ships had that blue look, on the show. But it was the lights or the way they filmed it.
Right.
And the studio model was actually gray. So Bob, this new customer that I built this diorama for, he said he'd like to have it in a blue to make it more like the ship how it was on the show.
Right.
So it is an interesting paint, and it's an actual car paint, and it's just a slight blue color. You can actually see the color that I've used here. It's a Canadian Tire paint, but I've kind of combined a little of the silver overlap, you know, on there. Now, of course, Bob actually asked me if I could build him one of the prop replica boxes. This is actually a switch box that I use on the 10-inch ship, and he wanted me to incorporate that into the 7-inch ship. So there's not much room on this diorama.
No, but the detail is just great on it, you know. Especially the road close sign and that. Very realistic to the scale of the car, you know, like he just, almost like he ran it over, you know, when he came in type of thing, you know.
Now, I did the car in a blue, but I think his car was more of a whitish, you know.
Yeah, something like that.
And he had a top on it. But I left the top off because it just, I found a Galaxy Ford with the top off, or top down, I should say, so you could actually see in.
Yeah.
See, so now Bob wanted to know how this thing works. Well, this switch here is a main switch. That's just powers everything. Now, everything's not on because all the switches are off except the main. So when you turn the main on, you actually see the prop box light up.
Very cool, man. Well made.
Yeah, see,
I love the effect.
So hit the sound effect there, or actually hit the music over here, Rick. There's music on this side.
Okay.
And if you push that in.
Oh, look at that, eh?
And that lights up, see?
Awesome. It almost looks like the face of an alien, you know, the way it's lighting up. Which I love the effect, man. It's really, really cool.
It's like a little house, like you say, eh?
Yeah, it looks like a little house in there. But it looks like an alien, like totally ticked off at you or something like that. Just the effect when it's talking, it's glowing.
Yeah.
You know, like this.
Alien being from a dying planet.
Ah, always like that.
So let's put some lights on this thing.
Okay.
So I guess we could put the green ones on.
David Vincent.
Here we are.
For him, it began one
Oh,
long
yeah.
night on a lonely country road looking for a shortcut.
But the pulse is set. And that just has a one switch
It
back
began with a closed
right here,
diner,
forward.
and a man threw
And then
a
if you
path
flip the
to
switch
continue his journey.
all the way forward,
It began with the
it's a
landing
steady.
of a craft
See?
from
Oh,
another
okay.
galaxy. Now,
That looks
David
great.
Vincent knows
See, now we
the
can put
invaders are here,
the
that they have taken
chaser
him
on.
before.
Mm-hmm.
Somehow he must convince the disbelieving world.
Look, you can actually see inside the window over here. You can see the lights behind the panel. So you have the aliens. There's actually, I believe, 2 aliens I can see there. And you can actually see the lights behind them, that flashing. I love the effect. Very realistic.
It's hard to actually see in there, but I think I got the camera that gives you the angles.
Yeah.
But there is a blue and red light in there.
Mm-hmm.
There it is.
You got it.
Now Bob wanted it that he could turn that light off. So if you look on the back of the prop box, there's a little switch back there. And if you turn it, just flick it back that way,
Okay.
it'll go dark.
Oh, yeah. I see that.
And then I'll flick it back on, and it's on.
Mm-hmm.
So you can have a choice of that.
Yeah.
Now, I'm going to turn the lights off overhead, and we can look at the car. You see the ship. Let's turn the chaser off. And we can just turn the red one on.
Mm-hmm.
So if you don't want to see the chaser, you can actually just see the red.
Yeah.
Now, when you push this switch way over on that end, see guy right there?
I'll push that?
Yeah.
Okay.
And then you'll get all the lights.
Oh, the moonlight effect.
The moonlight.
That's really sharp,
You
man.
get the Bud's Diner light in warm white.
Yeah, that's a great effect.
And then what I did special for Bob on that is I added high beams to the car, so they're like blasting.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like a little bit too bright for the camera, but it looks great when it's beaming right on the ship.
Yeah.
And then you get the tail lights of the vehicle.
Tail lights, and actually, there's a light inside the car,
there's
too.
a little interior light inside there.
That is really great, man.
Yeah. And then, of course, these always continue to flash.
Right.
Because that means that the power's on, right?
Mm-hmm.
Anytime you hit a sound or a theme music, then these little yellow and red lights will light up to the music.
Also, this effect over here with the trees with the moonlight,
Yeah.
it reminds me of the, I believe it was the first episode of X-Files and that.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, remember the bright light behind those trees? And that's what it reminds me of, too. I just love the effect
Kind
of
of
that.
that
Very realistic.
cinematography kind of thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, you flip the diorama the other way, and then you can see the back of the ship and then the lights.
Oh, yeah.
They're so bright that it's hard to dim them, like dim the camera.
Yeah. But I like the idea of the low lights for the Bud's Diner and that. Great effect, 60s effect right there. The way it should be, actually.
Yeah, you gotta have the right color light.
Yeah, definitely.
Remember we went through all that crap last time about the lights chasers in the ships, if they should be yellow or be white?
Exactly.
Oh, man. But now you beat that problem.
Mm-hmm.
But it's a pretty good chaser effect for such a little guy.
Yeah.
I don't mind. It turned out pretty good. The bigger ship has a little bit more movement in the light, but because it's so small, you know.
Yeah, you're what do you call it? You're kind of stuck. You can only go so far, and that's it.
Yeah.
But I do love it though.
But at least you're getting all 10 ports chasing within 4 beams of light, like in the show, and then you don't have one light kind of spinning in the center inside the ship. There's over 40 lights in there doing that effect.
Wow.
40 3mm lights.
Oh yeah, great effect.
Yeah.
Yeah, very nice. It's like you said, it's compared to the one chaser going around and around and around, which doesn't look real.
Yeah.
This has a more realistic effect to it.
Yeah, there's a little bit more going on. You know, this took a heck of a long time to finish, and this is probably the last one I'm going to do. I'm going to just kind of work on your little ship, but Rick has one that he gave me to repair, and we're going to put a chaser in that one. But you know, working on these little ships is not that, you know, that fun. It is okay. It's enjoyable, but I think working on the 10-inch ship is a lot more enjoyable, a lot more fun.
Yeah.
Because it's bigger. Doesn't break as easy. Those little wee legs those little feet on the legs, they break off so easy. There's another thing I didn't tell you. See the ladder? The Aurora ship has 2 ladders, but as you can see, I eliminated one.
Yeah.
See, I took one off.
Just like the show.
Yeah. So why have 2 ladders? There's no 2 ladders.
Exactly.
So one was filled and painted, so you get to see the one ladder. And then if you really want to look inside, if you flip this back...
Oh, yeah. Oh, there's a porthole?
Yeah, there's a porthole, and you can actually see the men in there. It goes right up in there, and there's sparkly paper in there, and if you look right in there, it's basically just for Bob to look inside, but you can look at that, and then I even put a laser cannon in the back.
Yeah.
Like the old one, you know.
Oh, ever cool. Well, I like the effect of the porthole in that because it looks like the guy's working on something inside the ship.
It doesn't have the flickering, you know, like the bigger ships, but it does have the lights in there, and you can actually see little figures in there.
And I love the pulsating over here. Great effect on that.
Yeah, that's a slow pulse. You can adjust that from the bottom by pushing the speed, but I think it's a slow pulsing effect, which seems to be okay. What do you think, Rick? Is that the right speed, or should it be faster?
No, actually, do I like it? Because if it's too fast, it all depends. Okay, let's say the ship's taking off, and you might flicker on quicker, and you know, to get it going. But to me, when I'm looking at that speed, it looks like there's a lot of power behind this ship. You know, that's why I like it. Slow motion like that. It's very nice.
Put a little bit of photo etch on the front of the ship too. There's a little bit of a grid there.
Yeah.
And then I fogged the green lights, the domes, and these are rounded domes. These are special domes from Kitcraft. They're not the domes that come with the ship.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And then I forgot to say too, the bottom of the ship has a textured paint. If you look, it's textured, see?
Oh yeah, you can feel it.
Yeah, it's got a little bit of sparkle in there.
Yeah.
So it's not so one-dimensional, just like a flat, ugly plastic bottom. It's got, you know, something, and then I got a rim around the edge, and the rim here is a little taller, like the studio version. I put a ring in there.
I was going to say.
Increase that, and then the top of the ship is smoother, but still slightly corrugated. Or not corrugated, but sandpapery, very fine, with a little bit of sparkle on that.
Well, that's why I was commenting, like, so when you compare the old style of sci-fi and that, which everything was perfect, well, reality sets in and it shouldn't be that way, because it's like when you're driving a car, paint flickers off or whatever, well, they're traveling through space.
I weathered it a little bit, too, trying to make it give it, because it used 2 tones of paint. Like I said, I used this particular paint, and let's say I got it over here, I can show you the 2 paint styles I used on that ship. The first one, that's the type of paint, and it's the blue and the silver. So, what's the number? Can you read that on that paint number on there?
Yeah, let me get my glasses on. I'll take a look.
See the blue.
Okay, here it is. It's a C. Looks like 8GM0423 medium Magi blue metallic.
Yeah. So you guys can read that. That's the paint, which is probably the best color for the ship if you want that blue effect. But the original is flat gray.
Mm.
And then I used this silver here, this particular platinum silver, and gave it a slight coating of the silver over top. So the blue went on first, and then the silver, so you could get it like a shadow or a weathered look.
Yeah, because you can see as I'm looking over here with the light effect, I can see the weathered look.
It's
great effect.
A little bit of blue, a little bit of silver.
Yeah.
You know, and not shiny. I sprayed it with a dull coat, and then of course the windows are done with glue and glaze. This here.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that's how the windows are put in. But I noticed one thing I probably do next time. If you put a little bit of tissue paper in there,
right,
like wax paper, to refract the light or to dullen it more, then put that little piece in there, and then put the glue and glaze over to it, because it might satin out the lights a little bit more.
Okay.
Because there's fairly bright, and it's not bad bright, but I think it would be nice to dullen that a little bit down a little bit, but in the end it still looks nice.
Yeah, and I'm gonna comment on the chaser and that, because you gotta look at this was back in the 60s and that, and I like the idea that the lights aren't like today's bright lights. You know what I mean? Because the older lights, that stuff wasn't invented what we've got today back then. So I love the effect. It's not too bright. It's just the way it should be.
Well, we were talking about, remember how the lights kind of jitter a little bit?
Yes.
Those lights were actually jittering back and forth.
Yeah.
Have a funny kind of it's not as smooth for some reason on the show.
Right.
And so, it has a little bit of a stagnant kind of a jump to it. And that's one of the chasers boards that I had custom built in the UK by Mr. Paul Gee. And he's a guy that's worked with me, and put up with me for all these months trying to perfect the lights. And basically I'm wiring this one up for the 10-inch in parallel. Okay. Oh, sorry, in series. This is in series. Series is a lot more difficult to wire up because there's more holes that have to be punched in. It takes twice as long to make these things. Right. If you do it in parallel, like this one, you can make them faster. But for some reason, the IC inside the board draws more power, and you can blow the chaser board out easier.
Yeah, you don't want that.
So I found a few chaser boards that I can use, and I think I have that problem licked. But I'm going to build another one and see if I can get the pattern of the lights to move a little smoother. That's the only other thing that I was, want to perfect on the models.
I was going to comment also on the Invaders side.
Yeah.
That I love the look of that.
That is a steel. It's steel top and black plastic underneath.
Oh yeah, it's etched right in there too.
Yeah, it's deep, and that plate. You can buy that plate with the base kit, with the 10-inch kit, for about $40, $35. They're not cheap to make, I have them made, 10 at a time, but the actual plate itself cost over $100 for me to have that done.
No, I love that. That's nice.
But anyway, it looks like I'm running out of battery power here. I got a red light blinking. And I want to thank Rick for coming out and looking at the model. I know that he wanted to see it before I sent it off to Bob.
Oh, definitely. I'm very impressed with it.
We got, you can flip this back here, and do a quick peek underneath the bottom. And there she is under there. There's quite a bit there with a speaker. Even got a Bud's Diner sign under there for...
Yeah, I see that. That's pretty cool.
And I got the little powered supply for the sound, so he has no batteries anymore.
Good idea.
To put under there.
Yeah.
And the base, of course, was sprayed with the same texture on here as it is on the little prop replica box.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Like it. Well, guarantee Bob, you're going to be very happy with this. I'm very impressed. So if I like it, you're going to like it. Well, that's a great job, man.
It's so small to work with. It's just so delicate, you know.
Yeah. No, very well. I like it. Very well made.
Well, I'll see you later, guys. I hope you like it. This is my new model, and we're going to be working on the 10-inch again, and Rick and I will get back together for another talk about the new 10-inch model kit that you could buy. And that you can get that now. If you go to modelermagic.com, you can see the ad for the 10-inch ship. So I'll catch you later. Thanks for coming in, Rick.
Okay, you're welcome.